S.U.M, Slay Uncool Monsters is Doomster Entertainment's newest game on Nintendo Switch, and this is one of those games that I find it extremely surprising that hadn't been done before. Originally released on mobile, this pixel art math dungeon crawler is visually reminiscent of old Dragon Quest games with a very interesting twist. In order to do damage to the monsters, you're tasked with getting math problems correctly, be it addition, subtraction, division, or multiplication. The idea is to learn while you play, and is perfect for kids learning entry-level math problems. There's no hint of a story here, just enemies and math, tons and tons of math. And that's actually a great thing. Your character and each enemy have basic health and damage counters clearly displayed. Each of your attacks will net you some experience and sometimes some gold to amass. The more you level up, the more health you gain, and the higher damage your output. Pretty standard stuff. In essence, it's a turn-based RPG. You're presented with math problems to solve in a 4x5 grid with the potential answers. Find the accurate box with the number representing the correct response to do damage to the enemy. Meanwhile, there's a timer ticking down. If you don't answer before then, the monster gets to attack, so it helps to be quick but also accurate, since getting the wrong response will result in the monster attacking as well. Special attacks consist of numbers disappearing from the tile set and monster taking massive chunks of damage to speed up the process. It feels very basic, but overall this isn't a game about min-maxing armor sets or even finding the right elemental weakness. It's all about getting good at math. Each of the floors consists of a certain number of enemies. The deeper you get into the game, the longer you should expect each of the floors to last. Once a run is finished, you're presented with a tally of how well you did and how many correct answers you got. Each of the playable characters has something of a unique trait tied to each one of them. They all gain HP, attack, experience points, and gold, a little bit different than one another based on a multiplier. My guess is to keep them a bit balanced when traditionally they shouldn't be. Last, each one of them has a certain part of the tile set where they can do higher damage, meaning that if you use numbers in that specific tile, you can get some bonuses. There is a rudimentary overworld tying all of the dungeons together, and that way you can easily see how many floors and which dungeons to tackle next. An endless mode is exactly what you would expect. Keep going until you die, allowing you to pick one discipline and only get math problems focusing on that specific trait. It's worth mentioning that the scalability is very good. Enemies begin to feel more varied and problems presented are more complex the deeper you go. This is a game that can easily be presented to a kid and see how they handle it, with the understanding that it could be out of reach if they're not very quick to problem solve. I played it on my Switch Lite with no problems of readability, and it was just fine performance-wise. S.U.M Slay Uncool Monsters presents a neat idea to the traditional turn-based dungeon crawling RPG, something that I hadn't quite seen done before, and a game that you can easily present to a child to get them started on basic math problems. Nintendo Sphere gives S.U.M on Switch a 7 out of 10. If you're new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya!